Hi, my name is Jordan Burhs and I'm going to be your host for the entire FIFA World Cup 2022. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my game previews for some round of 16 matches. It's France versus Poland and it's England versus Senegal. Before we dive into them, make sure you subscribe to the Odd Shoppers channel because we post daily predictions, previews, and No House Advantage videos on this channel. Speaking about No House Advantage, No House Advantage is bringing you the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Play him and pick him contests versus other people for a shot at winning up to $25,000 in cash. Be sure to also check out our No House Advantage lineup generators and projections. Test your skills versus the house and 20x your entry if you hit all of your picks. Sign up now with the link below to get your first match deposit bonus of up to $500. Without further ado, let's jump into the France versus Poland game. Now, France came into this World Cup as one of the favorites and the defending champions. So the first hurdle that they had to get over was the champions curse. They did that in its spectacular fashion, although they just lost to Tunisia, but they were already through. And then Poland were slight underdogs coming into this tournament, but I don't think many people were speaking about them, and they'll want to cause an upset here against France. Now, France started off their campaign with a good 4-1 win over Australia. Kylian Mbappe got a goal and an assist in that. Giroud played phenomenally well, bagging himself 2 goals. Then they came up against Denmark, who, don't forget, Denmark beat them twice in the lead up to the World Cup in the Nations League. France again put in a very, very good performance and beat them 2-1. Kylian Mbappe with both of those goals. And then they played sort of a B side against Tunisia. They made 9 changes to their starting lineup. And towards the end of the game, they did bring on the likes of Mbappe and Griezmann, but it was a little bit too late, and they ended up losing that game 1-0. Now, Kylian Mbappe is one of the favorites to get the Golden Boot this year. He's already bagged himself 3 goals, and I see France making it very, very deep into this tournament. So he could go from a champion to a champion and winning the Golden Boot, which will be quite historic, especially at his age. Now, Poland, on the other hand, have only scored in 1 out of their 3 group stage matches. They started off with a 0-0 draw against Mexico, and to be honest, Mexico ran circles around that Poland team. Robert Lewandowski missed the penalty, but he eventually made up for that in their 2-0 win over Saudi Arabia. Robert Lewandowski getting his first goal in a World Cup. To be fair, Saudi Arabia had just beaten Argentina, and like I said in that game preview, sometimes when you hit high, you miss low. Then in their third match, they came up against Argentina, who were looking to qualify after that loss against Saudi Arabia, and Argentina put in a good clinical 2-0 performance to beat Poland. Now, France are obvious favorites to win this game, obvious favorites to be one of the finalists in the competition, but Poland will come in and try and upset that. Again, Poland haven't scored, so they aren't expected to score in this game against France. The bookies have given them almost no chance. Now, France, coming into the tournament, they were without Benzema, they were without Nkunku, they were without Pogba and Konate. So the thought was that maybe France are going to struggle in the group stages and maybe that champions curse is going to play a role. But the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Griezmann, Giroud have just been absolutely phenomenal for this French side. And this is what we expected from the defending champions. Now, Poland will be relying on Lewandowski to deliver here. He is the talisman. He needs to really pull up his troops and attack this France line. I just think France's pace and the way they play, they're super attacking and super aggressive. They're just going to overwhelm this Polish defense, and I think it's going to end in a very, very comfortable France win. They'll like it in a round of 16. You don't really want that much of a tester. We see Argentina going to be playing Australia. It's a nice warm-up game for the quarterfinal. So I do think France get this done very, very comfortably, 3-4-0 maybe, but we're going for France money line here at odds of -350. Then in our second game of the day, it's England versus Senegal. It's the 3 Lions taking on the Lions of Teranga. This is going to be a tight game. I think a lot of people think England have this in the bag, probably winning a 2-3-0. But I just think it's going to be a lot tighter than a lot of people think. Senegal are the African champions. They know how to win in these big games. They beat Egypt, and then they beat Egypt again to qualify for the World Cup. I'm not saying England are on the same level as Egypt, but Senegal do have these players that have been in these high pressure situations, and Senegal will be looking to upset this England side. Now, England started their campaign off with a 6-2 win over Iran. From there, I think a lot of English fans thought they're just going to fly through the group stages and book their ticket into the final. But then they came up against a very scrappy, gritty USA team who pulled off a 0-0 draw against England. And to be fair to America, they looked the better side for majority of that game. England just looked a little bit lost in that game against the USA. To be fair, we have to give credit to USA. They're gritty, they grinded it out. They probably could have won that game, but it ended in a 0-0 draw. And then England came up against Wales. They needed to book their spot into the knockout stages, and they did so in grand fashion, beating Wales 3-0. Phil Foden looked absolutely phenomenal with an assist and a goal in that game. Don't tell me Phil Foden shouldn't be starting against Senegal. I don't think he's going to. I think that's a mistake by Gareth Southgate. Phil Foden just has dynamite under his boots at the moment, and I think he should be starting for this England team. Then Senegal started off with a 2-0 loss against Netherlands. To be fair, there were good signs there. They looked very threatening in that first half, and then Netherlands just clapped back with a goal in the 84th and 92nd minute to win that 2-0. Senegal probably could have beat the Dutch there, but the Dutch just do what the Dutch do, defend and score late. Then they came up against Qatar, and they got their campaign going with a 3-1 win over Qatar. Again, we expected that. Qatar weren't really a team that anyone was worried about in this World Cup. And then they came up against Ecuador in the final match day of Group A. Whoever won went through, and Senegal pulled off an upset according to the bookies and beat Ecuador 2-1. Absolutely incredible stuff by Senegal. Now, this is the first time that England and Senegal will be meeting, but England have never lost to an African side in their history. They've won 14 and they've drawn 6. Now, the only absentee from the England side will be Ben White, and that's because of personal reasons. We're not exactly sure why, but there are replacements in the defense for that England side. Don't get me wrong, England are the better side here on paper, but I just think Senegal might be able to cause them problems. Two big names that they will be without is obviously Sadio Mane. He hasn't featured in the World Cup at all due to injury, and Idrissa Gueye picked up a second yellow card in the Ecuador game. So those two, probably the two best midfielders that Senegal have, will not be able to take part in this England game, and I think that's where England can control the game. The midfielders for England are high class, high quality, and I think that's where England will win the game. Now, where Senegal could probably win the game is with their pace on the wings and really take on this English backline. This English backline haven't looked great, to be honest with you. They look a little bit pedestrian, and I do think Senegal can cause some problems. If Senegal score first in this game, all hell's going to break loose, and Senegal could possibly pull off an upset here. Now, obviously, the favorites are England to win. Everyone thinks England are going to go through, but we know, we've watched them in multiple World Cups over decades. They bottle the World Cup. Now, I don't know if it's going to come in this game against Senegal or potentially down the road against France or a bigger team like that. But I definitely think the England team, Gareth Southgate, and the English fans are underestimating the Senegal side. And I think that's exactly where they want to be. So for me, this is going to be a very tight game. I wouldn't be surprised if Senegal upset England here. We know they're bottlers. Senegal love these high pressure moments. We're from Africa. We're gritty. We take on the big dogs. So I think it's going to be tight, which is why we're going for a Senegal handicap of +1.5 at odds of -200. And just to wrap it up, in the France and Poland game, we've got France to win at odds of 350. And in the England-Senegal game, it's going to be very tight. I'm going Senegal at a handicap of +1.5 at odds of -200. Again, guys, make sure you subscribe because we drop daily predictions, previews, and no house advantage videos on this channel. Also, make sure to go hit the link in our description, download No House Advantage, and start betting there. Our offer from BetMGM is also still on the table. Deposit $10, bet $10, win $200 of free bets. We do see that a couple of you have signed up, but make sure that you deposit that initial $10 to really get those $200 in free bets. But until next time, I'm your host, Jordan Burhs, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.